I'm so happy to have you all here, and it promises to be an impactful section. We're going to start as we wait for others to join us. So today, we're going to be treating a topic that says self-love practice. Yes, self-love sounds beautiful in theory, but in real life, it is very hard, like really hard, because most of us were never taught to love ourselves. We're taught to add on ourselves, yeah, to criticize ourselves, to push ourselves, to earn love from others before we could even give it to ourselves. So when someone says just love yourself, it can feel like a cruel joke because you really want to, but you do not know where to start from. You look in the mirror and all you see are flaws, your imperfection, you listen to your thoughts, and all you hear is a voice that says that you're not good enough. So today we're going to be changing that, not in one day, actually, not perfectly, but we're going to start. Self-love is not being selfish, it's not thinking that you're better than anyone else. Real self-love is much quieter than it is. It is choosing to speak kindly to yourself when you make mistake. It is setting boundaries with people who drain you. It is resting when you're tired, even when there is more work to do. It is forgiving yourself for yesterday. It is feeding your body, moving your body, honoring your body, because it is the only you get. Self-love is a practice. That means you do it over and over again, even when it feels fake, but it should actually be real. Even when you do not believe the words, even when it is easier to fall back into self-hate, you keep showing up for yourself the way a good parent shows up for a child. So if you are tired of being your own worst enemy, if you are ready to learn how to be your own best friend, if you
I thought you why?
please I want to ask, if can we hear me? Please, if you can hear me, signify.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So if you are tired of being your own worst enemy, if you are ready to learn how to be your own best friend, if you want to stop the wall inside your head and start making peace with the person you see in the mirror, you are in the right place. Yes. So welcome. I welcome you all again to today's chat. I want us to feel comfortable and learn practical ways in which we can love ourselves. And we're also going to be dealing with practical questions on how to prioritize ourselves. So today we have in person of Mr. Ridwan Oyenuga. He is our guest speaker for today, who is going to be taking us through self-love practice. Thank you very much for taking your time to be with us today, and we hope to hear and learn from you. So thank you very much. So as I welcome Mr. Ridwan, yeah, welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Covenant. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. It's a real pleasure to be here and speaking about a very important topic, self-love. And let me be honest, and let me start with something honest. So, a lot of people
Okay.
think self-love is about maybe confidence, affirmations, or just feeling good about yourself. And the reality about self-love is that self-love is actually about discipline. It's about setting boundaries. It's about how you treat yourself on the days you don't feel strong or motivated or confident. Because the truth is, you can't build a healthy life if you are not constantly at war with yourself. And today, I would want to break that down into ways that's very much practical and real, and something you can actually apply to everyday conversations or everyday lifestyle. So you attach that with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. I don't know if you see like have more to say about self-love practice. I know you've done like introduction, maybe like an overview. So, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Are you with me?
Yes, sir. I'm with you.
All right. Okay. So, that was like you said, that was more of like an introduction, just to basically get started into basically what I'll be discussing about, which definitely is self love.
Yes.
Yeah. So just give
Yes,
me
sir.
a minute.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. So yeah, I will start by defining what we actually know as self love, and I'll be going down. I would also talk about the types of self love and every single thing. And later on, maybe questions could be asked or whatsoever after I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'll also try to be quick because of the timing and all. So first of all, self love is
Okay.
not one thing. It's like I said, showing up in different forms. And if you ignore one, your life becomes unbalanced. So you have to show up in every single point for yourself. Here, and let me break it down. These are different types of self love. We have emotional self love. This is how you speak to yourself, how you manage negative thoughts, and not tearing down yourself after certain mistakes. You might make a very big mistake, a very, very big mistake. How do you treat yourself emotionally at that point? What do you say to yourself? Do you bring yourself down? What do you do? It could be as little as an examination. You probably wanted to read a particular page, you didn't end up reading it, and that was the part that came out in exam, and probably you didn't get the right score. So, what do you tell yourself? Do you beat yourself down? Blame yourself so much? What does your inner voice say? Is your inner voice toxic? And no amount of external success will be enough to give you peace if your inner self is not balanced. That's one thing we should know. And that is the emotional self love. And next is the physical self love. So this has to do with sleep, food, rest, not overworking yourself, and taking care of your body. So some people say they love themselves, but they are actually constantly exhausted, and that is not self-love. That is neglect. I can say I am a victim of this. To be very honest, I'll be honest. When it comes to emotional self-love, I know most times anytime I do something wrong, I don't even care. I just make myself happy, like emotional wise. But when it comes to, I know sleep, food, I eat enough because food is something that makes you happy or something that just brings happiness to myself whenever I'm not in so good mood. So food is out of the way. But looking at rest and sleep, I know it's something that I don't do so much. Sometimes I tend to overwork. And this is the truth about people you find. Even people that talk about mental health, mental health, mental health. There are certain things that they also go through themselves. They are not perfect. No one is perfect. So this is also something that I go through. But ways to manage this is definitely having time to separate things from things. For example, now that we're here, 7 p.m., probably have a good schedule of your day. Okay, probably by 10 p.m., you are done with phone, anything phone related or digital technology and all. Move it to the next day, 5, 6, 7 a.m., wake up and do what you have to do. So this is where the physical self comes up on board, just taking care of yourself physically. And like when it comes to food, I'm very passionate. I don't want to say I'm very passionate about food, but I'm very keen on food. And why is this? Most times when I'm not in a very good mood, emotionally or physically or whatsoever it is, I tend to turn towards food, and because food is a very good part of happiness, and this is the actual truth. Food is something that people don't. I don't want to say the word. It's not AI, but I don't want to say people don't leverage on food enough as they should. But that's the truth. People don't leverage on food as they should. I know this is not a food show, but this is more of self love and mental health. If you go through, I've forgotten the specific gland, but I know there's a specific gland in the body that is in charge of happiness and well, everything about happiness, anti sadness, and all. And about 90% of that gland, I believe, has to do with what you take in your body, food wise. So this also shows that how important not just food or anything you just put in your body has a lot to do with your whole life. And the next is the mental self love. And this has to do with protecting your peace. This has to do with what you consume, which is online. And this has to do with avoiding comparisons. So I'll break that down again. So when it comes to protecting your peace, this is where we look at relationships, the relationships that are beating you down so much. You can't even think, you can't think well because you and your partner are probably in an argument, this and that. At the particular point, you tend to know, oh, this is not the best for me. This has to do with protecting your peace. It could be your partner could be the opposite of you. You could be so calm, and this your partner could be the opposite and not giving you that peace you need. So you need peace, and that's protecting your peace. And next is what you consume. This is social media and conversations. This is very, very important for everybody. What you consume on social media has a lot to do with our lives. And what we see on social media has a lot to do with our lives. We look at the situation of that hypo time. We see lots of young people doing the challenge of trying to drink hypo, this and that. Someone might have done that mistakenly, thinking, okay, probably it's water or something, and that's the total end of the person. So what we consume online is also very, very important. And when it comes to comparison, which is the third thing, and which really affects our mental self-love, this is something very important. What we see outside, how we compare ourselves to people outside, is very important. Especially young people of nowadays, when we see our peers, I would use the word making it to a certain point, we start feeling so jealous, we start feeling so sad, we feel down, we feel this and that. One thing we don't even know is that these people that we say are actually making it in life, and might not really be doing that. This everything we see on social media is just for the socials, to be very honest. So we need to learn how to stop comparing ourselves to people online out there, so we protect our mental self-love, which is that part. And this is very important. This fourth one, I've spoken about the emotional, physical, and mental, and this is the boundary-based self-love. So this has to do without boundaries. When you set boundaries, setting boundaries, one, not saying no without feeling guilt. This is very important. Two, not over explaining yourself to people who don't deserve to be explained to. Three, protecting your time and energy. So a lack of boundary is often a lack of self-love. Do you understand? So not saying no
Yes.
without feeling guilty is something that we should have within ourselves. Like we don't always have to say yes to every single thing, to be honest. And I know we all kind of fall victim of this sometimes. It could be somebody older than us or something, probably tells us to do something or whatsoever. It could be anything. Just giving an example. And we can't really say no. Oh, if you say no, what would happen? How would the person feel? No, 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 no. If it's not protecting yourself, it's not helping you build your self love or whatsoever, don't just say no straight up. And what follows up is no need for explanations, especially for people that don't deserve so much explanations. You don't have to explain yourself so much. And the last but not the least, as far as types is concerned, is the growth self love. And this has to do with holding yourself accountable, improving your habits, and not staying comfortable. So we need to understand that self love is not just accepting yourself, it's also improving yourself. In as much as you see people out there, yes, don't compare yourself to other people, but you have to hold yourself accountable for some certain things. You have to improve your habits, and you have to don't always be in this comfortable position, especially for people who want to grow. And these are for people who are looking for massive growth. It could be startup founders, it could be whatsoever you may be in, whatever niche you are. This is something that you need to have. You need to know how to hold yourself accountable for certain things. You don't always have to blame other people for every single thing. Because there's some things that are naturally your fault. We should know that. So you don't have to put it on other people. Secondly, we need to know how to improve our habits. It could be anyhow, it could be health related. For example, me, I say nowadays I eat fruits every single day, health wise. Why? Because maybe maybe I could say for a year plus I didn't even eat any fruits, and started realizing that even though I'm young, it's something that could affect me in the future. And when it now affects me in the future, I can't blame anybody. I can't say, oh, my this did not do this. No, 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 no. I'm being accountable for myself. And that is me trying my possible best to ensure that I improve my habits by getting enough fruits and also enough sleep, which is something that I still fall short in. I know sometimes, most times I get max 5, 6 hours of sleep, but at the same time, uh sometimes I also try to make sure that I get enough and enough amount of sleep, which is also something I'm trying to work on myself. So this just shows that no matter how we want to help people, or no matter people you also see online, these people also have shortcomings. This is also something that we should also note. No matter how glary or how shining someone's life is or whatsoever, trust me, there are certain full stops or certain commas within that person's life that we also have to be aware of. And just to clarify on that part, do you have any question as far as that is concerned? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, my name is Mrs. Adenuga. I just want to ask question concerning setting boundaries.
Okay, do we have anyone that has question regarding what has been said just now? Do we
Yes,
have anyone?
yes, please. Yes, please. I do. I do have question. I do.
Yeah.
Can I go ahead? Hello, can I go ahead?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
All right. So I'm Miss Adenuga. I just want to thank the speaker for doing a great job. I want to ask question concerning setting boundaries. He said some things, although I joined a little bit late, and he said some things about setting boundaries. I just want you to please just rush over the slide of setting boundaries again, please.
All right. I will do that. Thank you very much. So, when it comes to setting boundaries, I spoke about boundary-based self-love, and this has to do with saying no without guilt. It has to do with not over-explaining yourself, and also has to do with protecting your time and energy. Saying no without guilt is when people that don't, and this follows the next step, which is not over explaining yourself. Some people don't deserve your energy, your time. So just straight out no to those certain type of people that you know that just don't deserve your time, don't deserve what you want to help them do. And this could fall, like I said, the example I gave was for mainly the younger people when looking at the older people. It could be any way, it could be the older also looking at the younger or whatsoever form. When you are probably asked to do some certain things and you know that these certain things you have to do or you are told to do would affect you seriously, but you're trying to say, if I say no, I'll feel bad or they'll feel bad. So let me just try to say, no, 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 no. Just say your no straight up no. As far as nothing negative is not something that would affect you or whatsoever, and not something that is wrong. Say your no without your guilt. That's one. Two, not over explaining yourself. You don't have to say no with explanations. Your no should be your no, not in a rude form. It could be, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do so and so. Doesn't have to be the capital letter no with probably three exclamation marks. No, no, that's definitely not necessary. Just a simple no with probably a short message or whatsoever, or how you want to pass your message. It could be through body language itself. So there's some things you don't even have to speak. You just have to put in the body language, and this person knows, oh, okay, it's a no area. And also protecting your time and energy, which is very important. This has to do with boundary-based self-love. So you just have to protect your time and energy for certain things. Some things don't deserve your time and energy. We can also look at relationships in this manner. We see a party, you're probably in a relationship that is draining you, that doesn't give you enough time to work. One, affects you seriously, affects your work. At the same time, probably it's always draining. Each time you wake up, sleep, you're thinking about how you and your partner were arguing. So those kind of things. You need to protect your energy, which is your mental energy, and also your time. You can't. There are people, but you can't say you are spending probably an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours thinking about your relationship in the negative manner, and you think that is a good one. No, it's not a good one. I'm not saying you should cut the relationship off. But something that you can have talk to your partners and try to find a possible ground for that, just so that you can protect your time and energy. Thank you. So I believe that has been done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So I'll go to the next, which is why people struggle with self love, and I'll be very serious here. And one is the constant comparison, which is social media, and this cannot be overemphasized on, because we see people out there, social media wise, and we want to be like these people. It's not wrong, but when we start feeling bad about ourselves, feeling down about ourselves, looking at ourselves in a negative form whatsoever, this is a problem, and this is why people struggle with self love. And this is it could not just be social media. It could be social media technically. It could be as easy as I'm looking at Nigeria, for example. It could be as easy as you're probably Nigeria lifestyle. You're probably in a bus, and you see a young boy probably driving a car, and you start saying, "Oh my God, why can't I be?" There's no need for that. You need to love yourself for the way you are. And as far as you are putting enough time and effort and energy and prayer, which is very important, into what you do, it would follow up with success. That's one. Two, seeking validation from others, which is wrong. We don't always have to seek validations from others before we know what is right from wrong. I mean, this is where people really make mistakes, especially relationship wise, also. And I would say, especially Africans fall victim of this seriously. We see issues of families, we say, oh, why did they divorce or whatsoever? We hear, oh, his mother said, our mother said. So you don't need other people to validate so many things in your life. You need other people to tell you yes is yes before you know yes is yes. You need to believe in yourself, and understand, okay, is yes truly yes, or is yes no, whatsoever it is. Don't always seek validation from others. I'm not saying you should negate what other people say, but don't always make what other people say validate your idea or validate your position in life, especially position in life. This is very important, because it depends. Validation is very important in life when it comes to ideas or whatsoever you want to do. But when it comes to your position in life, where you are, other people telling you, oh, this is you, this is that, you don't need that. As far as you can say you are yourself, or you are this, you are that, that is, to be honest, that is all you need as far as this is concerned, to help yourself love. Next is also fear of disappointing people. You need to understand that disappointment is a normal thing, not normal per se, but it's nature. Disappointments happen, and sometimes this is where no comes up on board, where you don't want to tell someone no, so as you don't disappoint them, and as to not disappointing them, you are harming yourself. You're putting yourself in danger. You're putting yourself in what you don't want to put yourself in, just so you don't want to disappoint someone, which is wrong. I'm not saying you can't make sacrifices, you can, but when the sacrifices are extreme, sacrifices that would really affect your mental health, take a toll on your energy, take a toll on your time, that is not worth it. You need to disappoint people at this point, and it is the truth. I can give instances of when I've been asked to do certain things, and I know that certain things, these people would help them, but at the same time, as it's helping them, it would affect me seriously. And you have to put yourself above anybody, because trust me, nobody puts themselves above you. That's just a normal understanding. If you think someone else is it's probably putting you above, no, I don't see that as a good concept of anything. You need to put yourself above anyone. And lastly, we look at low self worth from past experiences. This is probably from something that has happened to you in the past, and you start seeing yourself as this small, minor person. This shouldn't be the way. And I'll just give an example of myself. I'll use myself. I love using myself as an example, because some of these things I've been through them. One is while I was studying university. Uh, Based on the kind of person I was very, very shy. Up until now, I'm still shy, very shy. Social anxiety at the peak, maximum peak. And I always saw myself as this minor, small person. Up until I don't know what happened to me, but this university SUG elections and all. I just decided to run for it 2 consecutive years. Even while I was in the position, because I was director of public relations in my final year, even while I was that position, literally more of like the voice of the school, my past was still eating on me. Why? Because I had not forgotten that part of me yet. I still had that feeling that sometimes, and this is the honest truth, sometimes when walking through certain places, so many random thoughts comes to my head. Oh, I guess we can all fall victim here. I'm being very serious. Oh, am I? And this is very, very. I don't want to say crazy, but it's somehow. But it could be as simple as, am I walking well? It could be that simple. Trust me. Is my hand positioned well? Is my face smiling? Like just random thoughts, and this is because of how you felt about yourself in the past. Your confidence level has passed. You haven't forgotten about that. So it's something that you need to build yourself upon, and this is self love. You need to understand the fact that you are the most perfect and the most perfect, the most finest, the most whatsoever word you can put to classify yourself. That should be you, and that should be the understanding you should have about yourself. If not, it will be really affected. And trust me, these things affected me. But along the line, try to manage them and ensure that, okay, I try to do this at certain points. At the point, you just don't care about what other people think, which is very true. That is where seeking validation from other people, don't need to seek validation from other people, and that is where it comes up. So you don't always have to think about what people think. As far as you know what you're doing is right and it's actually right, just go with the flow. Yeah, so that's part two, which is why people struggle with self love. And yeah, so any questions as far as that is concerned before I go to the next one?
Okay. Do we have anyone with question? Uh, Anyone who has question so far? Okay, maybe you can go ahead, sir. I'm not sure anyone has.
Okay, thank you. So I'll be talking about practical tips, and this is where we should have so much attention to, which is practical tips on helping yourself. One is to keep promises to yourself. So if you say you would do something for yourself, do it. That builds self trust. This could be anything. It could be, promise yourself you sleep by 10 p.m. Promise yourself you read so book you want to read by so time. Promise yourself you go to the gym 2 times a week. Promise yourself you do this and this. Literally, just have conversations with yourself. I'm not saying this doesn't have to be talking to yourself or being mad or whatsoever, but just promise yourself that you will do certain things at certain periods. This helps self love. Two, feels fix self talk. So this has to do with catching negative thoughts and replacing them with neutral or more constructive ones. Don't say I am useless. Rather say I can improve on this. And this is something we all fall victim of. When something negative happens to us, oh my god, I don't know how to do this. Rather say I can improve on this. I can do this rather than you should be more of I can rather than so negative, or it's something we need to improve on ourselves. Speak positivity into ourselves. I know I see plenty of videos out there, Instagram wise, when people say, "Oh, wake up in the morning, write 5 things you want to be," or five, or maybe it could be just 5 positive words about yourself every single morning. And trust me, this thing actually works. Every morning you wake up, just get a book, write 5 positive things about yourself, and you see how you would improve personally, and it works perfectly. And this doesn't have to be with, it's not something magical, it's not something spiritual, it's just something that naturally happens. When you speak positivity into yourself, positivity comes. You don't say it's just like saying and it's not, and also it doesn't have to be overthinking you are this big person. No, 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 no. And where that comes up on board is probably saying I want to. Don't say I want to, rather say I am. Or just speak the present rather than saying the future. More like that. Not like I want to, just be in the present moment and positivity, positivity, positivity. Next is start saying no. We need to start saying no. And this is not to be heavy on anybody, but saying no to things that actually drain us, saying no to explain or to long talks or long explanations. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to explain your boundaries to everyone. There's some certain things that don't deserve your strength. This could be work wise. It could be as to it could be as simple as your boss wants you to do something, and this thing you want to do is risk is life is very risky. Learn to say no, and you don't have to outrightly say no, like I said, but no in ways that could that could not seem rude or whatsoever. In fact, it could be saying no in anything. It could be probably you were giving you were posted somewhere else. This could be anything. It could happen any to anyone, and you know that this place, going to this certain place, would have a certain risk on your life. You need to learn to say no, even if it might seem positive. But if you think of the future, of the long run of this thing you want to do, you have to say no to that thing. And this I'm speaking because of it. It's something that happened to me presently, recently, where I had to take a certain step in life, and saying yes is life threatening. Not on a very big scale, but yes, saying yes was definitely life threatening, and saying no would just help me. Even though I would never, I won't experience it if I say no, but I just don't want to experience it because it has the negative sides are more than the positive side. So you just have to say no to it. Next is stop consuming comparison. So reduce time on things that trigger your insecurity. So you need to reduce times on things that trigger insecurity. Could be what you watch. You consume so many negative content. This really shapes how we feel. To be honest, what we consume really shapes how we feel and how we think and how we see things to be. If we scroll on Instagram and we keep seeing negative content, there's something wrong. And this doesn't have to do with Instagram itself. It's about how we are actually, because most of these social media platforms, they are more of curated to be in how we act or things we do. We see most of the social media platforms, they're actually interconnected. What you search for on YouTube is similar to what you see on Instagram. And funny enough, you could be talking about something negative around you. And trust me, open your Instagram, the first thing you see is something relating to that which is negative. This is how social media works. They do a lot of in-house listening. Trust me, after this conference, my phone is right beside me. I'm using a separate phone. I could just open my phone and trust me, next thing I'll see on my phone on Instagram first is self-love. This is how phone works. So be mindful of what you consume and also what you see around certain things, specifically your phone. That's actually that's actually the truth. So it's more like saying your phone is listening to you, and it is your phone is listening to you. And the easiest way to explain that is if you're using an iPhone and you say, "Hey Siri," uh, your phone automatically knows, "Hey Siri," is like you're triggering something. So literally, this just shows that your phone is literally listening to you, but we're just waiting for you to say, "Hey Siri," so it can trigger something. But this also has to do that, oh, your phone is actually listening to almost every conversation you have, if not all conversations you have, but only reacting to certain things you say. This is also something we need to know. So what we see around our phones is getting to say what we see around our kids. You know, when people say, "Oh, don't say negative things around your kids," so they don't do this too. Don't say negative things about your around your phone too, so you don't end up consuming negative content at the same time. Oh, Siri was even on. So yes, that was an example. That was us one. And the last tip is ask for help when needed. And I would say this is a bit where my organization comes in. But sometimes self love is not about something you do alone. Sometimes it's having the courage to seek support, guidance, or professional help when you need it. Don't think a mental health therapist or a therapist or whatsoever is for someone who is mad or is for someone who has this massive negative thing on their mental health. No, 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 no. A therapist or a counselor is just someone who would guide you on your mental journey. And people make so much mistakes on putting so much effort into their physical journey and neglecting their mental journey. And this is where we have to make sure we put so much effort into, which is our mental aspect. Uh, we we look at people going to the gym 3 times a week. How many times do we see people actually meditating for 10, 15 minutes in a day, taking a walk, just listening to music, writing about their days, journaling, doing things that help their mental health and not just the physical health alone? Well, this is something that we don't see, especially among the African communities. We don't really see that people don't put so much effort into their mental health because it could be perceived to be mad or whatsoever. So enough awareness is also going on that, as far as that is concerned. So we need to also seek for help when needed. We don't have to do everything alone. For example, this could be as easy as talking to a friend of yours or a counselor or whatsoever about anything or whatsoever. So seeking help is also very, very, very important. I'll be giving the final statement now before so any question again, because this is the third section about the practical tips on managing and helping you as far as self-love is concerned. If you have any questions, please just ask before I give more of the closing on this topic. Okay, so I guess there's no question. Yes.
I have a question.
Okay, ma.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Um, at the introductory part, you mentioned something that I did not completely get. You said that self-love is not all about accepting yourself. It's all about, is it improving growth, or what was it that you said?
Okay. I said self-love is not just about accepting yourself. Because some people think self love is just about is maybe uh, being confident, being affirming yourself, or just feeling good about yourself. That is an aspect of self love, yes, but it is not all self love is. But most people just think self love is about your confidence, is about your affirmations you give yourself, is about making yourself feel good. And what I said was self love is actually about discipline and setting boundaries. So it's about boundaries, like I said, and which is what I explained. People don't see boundaries as self love. They don't see how boundaries improve their self love or affect their self love. I also said it's about how you treat yourselves on days that you don't feel strong or motivated or confident. So you talk about self love as, or people talk about self love as, oh, always trying to be confident. Okay, so when you're not confident, what do you then do to yourself? Do you beat yourself down? Do you talk bad about yourself? What do you do to yourself? There are days where you don't feel motivated at all. What do you say to yourself at that point? What do you do? What kind of actions do you take at that point? There are some days where you feel very, very low in confidence, and this happens naturally. So, what do you do to yourself those times? Do you feel bad about yourself? What exactly do you do? So, this is also it also has to do with self love. Self love doesn't have to be just confidence, affirmations, or feeling good. It has to do with discipline. Discipline, like I said, saying no is something you have to. Saying no without feeling guilt is something you have to actually be disciplined to do. If you're not disciplined to do that, you trust me, you just keep saying no as far as no is a word. So that's that. Thank you. Did you get it?
Miss Goodness, are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm satisfied with that.
Okay, thank you. You can go ahead, sir.
All right. So no other question, and I'll just be saying this finally, which is I can you can call it a closing remark. For I would say self love is not about being perfect. You don't have to be perfect. It's about being intentional about yourself. So don't think you have to be 100% uh, good. Just think about the fact that you yourself you're 100%. You don't have to be 100%. You don't have to be 100%, but you yourself you're 100%. And what I mean is, you see someone doing exceedingly well, and you say, "Oh, that is 100%," and you probably compare that to yourself and put yourself on maybe 60-40. No, 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 no. Think of where you are as 100. Even where the person is, you can classify it as that is their 100, this is my 100. And just make sure you are being intentional about yourself, intentional about the things you do. And as you keep growing, that is always your 100%, and that is always your perfection. You don't have to be perfect as far as looking at people who is concerned, but as far as looking at yourself, you are perfect. And this is where intentionality also comes in. So when you notice that something is wrong, you have to say it. You should know yourself it is wrong. So and this is where being honest with yourself comes in. So and this is where being perfect to yourself also comes in. So like I said, it's about choosing yourself even in small ways and every single day. Choose yourself before anybody. This is very important because at the end of the day, everybody goes their separate ways, and you know how life turns up to be and the way things are generally. So choose yourself, even if it is in a very small manner. Choose yourself. I'm not saying you shouldn't do to others too at the same time. Should do good to others, but at the same time, treat yourself well. Uh, you are probably eating and you think the food is this is just a plain example. I know my examples could be random, but and I talk about food, yes. So you could probably be eating and someone close to you wants to eat too. To be honest, if you know that this food you're eating, if you don't finish it, it's one very serious health complication in your life. And you see the other person beside you and really needs this food. This is where you have to be discretion comes up on board, knowing that if you give, you are putting your life on serious risk. And this is what people do most times. And you might not see don't just see it in this food manner, but this is just a general example that I could give, to be honest. So people more of harm themselves trying to please others. And this is where, trust me, founders come up on board. When you have an organization, when you have a company, whatsoever it is, you are trying to like build something or do something, you're actually harming yourself. It could be mental wise or whatever wise, while trying to build whatever you're building or whatsoever it is. Uh, I'm giving myself as an example, which is I have a mental health company, I have this company, I have this company. How am I managing these things without having to stress myself so much? And this is because I take enough breaks, enough breaks. When I notice that this thing is putting me in this limit, this level, I just step back and just rest. This I can say this is the first thing I'm doing this is the second thing I'm doing serenity mind wise properly this month, because I know I've been very stressed, very stressed. And I can't. I need to put myself ahead. In as much as I'm also putting others, which is good. But as far as it's not really affecting me, coming to this, speaking today doesn't affect me in any manner. Doesn't affect me in any way because I know I'm not going to sleep till probably 10, 11. So as far as it's not affecting me, it's not doing anything to my mental or whatsoever, I do it. But if it's something that I know that okay would have a whole serious toll on my mental health or whatsoever, physical, mental, social, whatsoever it is, I'll put a break there and put a stop there. Another, because at the end of the day, we realize that, like I said before, you are the only person you will spend your entire life with. And if you think about it, well, it is the truth. At the end of the day, you spend your entire life with yourself. Think about it well. I'm not saying when you definitely get married, this, that, whatever. But you really think about this truth, you spend your entire life with yourself. Your entire life with yourself. So you need to put yourself first. And you need to ask yourself certain questions. Are you treating yourself like someone you actually value or not? The way you treat yourself, are you treating yourself like you actually value yourself? It could be health wise, it could be the way you talk to yourself, beat yourself, or whatsoever it is. Are you really treating yourself with value? And this is why I said your perfection comes up on board. You need to have that belief that you are 100% perfect. Not like I said, not knowing you should know when you have your flaws and all, but this has to do with comparisons and also are you treating yourself like gold or you're treating yourself like probably bronze? No, don't treat yourself like bronze. if you're going to treat yourself like gold, treat yourself like diamond because diamond is very expensive and you are expensive. So have that uh, inner conviction within yourself that you are the best version of whatsoever it could be. And this is also when you need to realize the truth. You need to know what the truth and what is not true. So at a certain point, you need to accept some things, but at the same time, have that inner conviction within yourself that I am 100% perfect. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. It was so impactful. Thank you very much for that, sir. Actually, the after this overview, this presentation, we usually have live chat. But looking at the questions before me, like the practical questions before me, you've answered almost all the questions. And maybe I'll just be asking two questions just to key with the protocol and the way things has always been done. So I'll just be asking like two questions tonight. So I will appreciate it if you can answer these questions for us. Just two. So the first question says, I have a friend who only calls when they need something. I feel used, but I'm afraid that setting boundaries means losing the friendship. How do I choose myself without fearing abandonment? I'll repeat the question, sir. It says, I have a friend who only calls when they need something. I feel used, but I'm afraid that setting boundaries means losing the friendship. How do I choose myself without fearing abandonment? That's the question, sir.
That's a very tough one, and it's a very tough question. I would say, uh, when you know you have a friend who only calls when they need you,
Yes.
and one thing you need to understand, you need to accept what life is first of all, and this is the truth. I'm not talking friend wise now. Let's say someone general. Trust me, there's always someone you reach out to when you need help, some certain things, and that's the only way you reach out to them. Else you want to do one or two checks in just to make sure the person feels you're okay or whatsoever. Person feels they're checking up. But this is also life generally. We need to understand that uh people we just do certain things because we need something from some certain people. And months ago, I was speaking about resilience. And resilience has to do with just accepting people for who they are and not coming out aggressive or whatsoever it is. Depending on the kind of friendship this is, this question you asked depends on how you should handle it. If the person calls you when they need your help and the help is something that is so stressful, that is so strenuous that you need to put in so much effort, put in so much this or that into it, know that this is negative. Just outrightly say no. What would the person say maximum? Oh, why are you saying no to me? Literally, like that's all the person can say. Why are you saying no to me? And as far as it's online, the person cannot beat you. Literally, like this is I'm saying this life wise because this is life wise. I'm not saying that oh I'm coming as a speaker speaking. No, this is just the truth. Someone tells you to do something that you know that this person is telling you every single time, just coming when they need you. And the person is not always there for you. When they come next time, can you help me? "Ah, no, I cannot help you. I'm sorry. Oh, this and this. You don't have to lie. Just have to simply tell them the no in a very comforted way. You could even ask ChatGPT to craft a very good no response for you and give the person straight up. That's the honest truth. But also, you need to understand another thing is if it's a relationship that you value, and as I said, it depends on the level of friendship. If it's a relationship that you value, you really, really hold on to, this is where speaking up comes up on board. So tell the person, so and so. I notice you always come to me or you always reach out to me only when you need my help. I don't like it, or I feel so and so, da 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 da. Just put something, tell the person how you feel exactly. And this is an actual question. The same way you had the idea to ask here, that's the same way you should actually put in the person's DM and send that message without guilt or feeling any way. Because what is the maximum that can happen? One, the maximum that can happen is the person apologizes and changes their ways. Or two, you actually realize the kind of person that you have with you. That is just the truth. So you need to actually realize, oh, is this someone that is worth spending or worth thinking about future wise, or someone that should just be cut off? Because if I have this kind of person in my life, when I'm in the most first moment of my life and I reach out to this person will not be there for me. So why am I there for the person?
Hmm.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that, sir. So quickly, I'll be asking the second question. So our time. The second question says, I'm so used to taking care of everyone else that when someone asks, what do you need? I genuinely don't know how to answer. How do I reconnect with my own needs? I'll repeat the question again, sir. It says, I'm so used to taking care of everyone else that when someone asks me, what do you need? I genuinely don't know how to answer. How do I reconnect with my own needs? That's the question, sir.
Okay. Mm, I would say I fall victim here too. I used to fall victim here enough well enough. I think to be honest, opening up is actually not bad to be honest. And that is what I always do. Whenever I see certain things and I realize that oh I have this same thing too, let's see how we can solve each other's problem. But I would say this specifically as far as mental health is concerned in my organization, to be honest. I noticed that, oh, I used to make massive impact and I would be always stressed. Uh, And I realized that I was suffering with myself, I was going through a lot and helping people, which is fine. That this is where it comes up on board. And people ask me for help, I give them the help. But when it now comes to the help self, it's not even about what do I need. It is who do I even ask the help? Who do I ask for help from? That was always the problem for me. Up until I realized that one of the last things I said was that you is more of you are the only you are to yourself as far as this world is concerned, the entire world is concerned. You have to prioritize yourself first, which is one. When people need things from you, not everything is a yes. You need to say no to some things. You need to start there. When people need your help, come with you for help or come to you for help, you need to know how to say no first of all. I'm sorry, I can't do this. That is one. So now reconnecting to what you actually need. This is where journaling comes up on board. Just probably 5-10 minutes in a day. Pick a pen. I would advise you leave the phone. People could journal on their phones, which is fine. But first you could pick it. You could do that too. But you could just pick a pen and a book. Write anything that comes to your head. Before you know it, you start realizing so much that you are missing from and you are giving. And this is where you tend to know, oh, okay, this is the part where I lack so in, and I need to start filling up that space in myself. Okay, now who can help me fill that space in myself? And before you know it, someone comes to ask you for help. Oh, okay, this person can fill this space for me. Oh, can you help me do this? And this is what I've done before. So I'm not just saying this as a tip for doing. It's something that I've done before and has worked for me. Yeah, thank you very much.
Uh, Thank you very much for answering the questions, sir. Really appreciate that. And someone, I thought that was going to be the last question. Someone dropped a question in the chat box, and the question says, "Sir, after being told self-love means putting myself first, saving my mental health at that moment, but how do we handle the guilt and backlash that comes after setting a boundary with someone even important? And how do we balance this self-love with loyalty, especially with family?"
Mm, this is something people really struggle with. I don't want to keep saying I struggle with all these things. Also, this thing. But this could be the same for almost everyone here on this call. Uh, how to handle that backlash or guilt that comes after setting a particular boundary. So it's two things. There's a guilt. Guilt is yourself within yourself. And as far as you know what you're doing is right, like I said, you're 100% perfect. Put that at the back of your mind. Now, if you know as far as what you're doing is right, I think, like I said, journaling is very important because journaling helps you reaffirm what you have within yourself. So try this tip. Probably someone tells you to just, I'm just using a random example. Someone tells you to help them write a book or help them do an assignment. I know if you do the assignments, you're not going to do your assignments, and you are literally going to put them there, whosoever self above yourself, and literally you'll be losing a lot. Literally, just write it in a book, like 3, 4, 5 times. If I do so 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 and so for so so person, I would so like just show what you want to do or what you wouldn't do for the person and how it would affect you. This just helps you understand that okay, I need to put myself first. I can't let this other person affect my life so much that I wouldn't do so and so. And when it comes to backlash after setting boundaries, this is where resilience also comes up on board. And this is something very important. And we need to build ourselves. Resilience can be built for you. You need to build it yourself. You know, when people say, uh, especially we Africans, I believe we have this strong blood, we have this strong gene. And that's very good for us because when some certain things hit us, we can easy the word is just test it. We just test it, and that's the truth. And that's also something we need to learn out. We need to know how to test things. And that's the truth. And what we do after we test those things are very, very important. As for me, when it comes to backlash, once I test it, what goes next is food. And it's the food that I like. It could be anything, oh, it could be anything. It could be as easy as a movie or whatsoever it is. Even it could be at the point of that guilt. But as far as you know, like, what you're doing is right. You need that's to be very important. As far as what you're doing is right, once that backlash or guilt or whatever hits you, your chest or whatever it hits in your body, if you follow up with something, like I said earlier, the journaling is very important. Afterwards, do an activity. It could be exercise, you could watch a movie, it could be listening to music, it could be dance, it could be anything, any single thing. In fact, it could be a phone call or something with someone. And it could be as good as food, eating good food. Or eating, it doesn't have to be good, but as long as the food you like, just eat it and you will be definitely fine. And you said, how do we balance self love and self self? How do we balance this self love with loyalty, especially with families? This is a very very tricky one, and this affects everything, almost every single family. Uh, this self love because you're trying to protect yourself. You have to say no to some certain things within your family. And when it's family matter, we know how very important and sensitive it is. We know how families could react. So this has to do with how you put yourself within that boundary, or what kind of boundaries do you set with your family. You need to understand first of all it is your family. But if your family is putting you to a point where it's something very dangerous or very dangerous, could affect your life seriously, could do this to you, put yourself first. And like I said, don't think too much about it. Affirm yourself that what you're doing is right. Journal. After that, give yourself space and do what you love doing. It could be eating, it could be watching movies, it could be reading books, it could be phone calls with your loved ones or whatsoever it is. I'm not saying you should leave your family too. Do not leave your family. Because your family is one of the your first contact or whatsoever. But when you realize that this is really affecting you, you need to put yourself first. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much for that, Mr. Victor. I don't know if um you are okay with the response or that just okay. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so we have come to the end of today's section. I don't know if anyone has maybe additional question or contribution that you would like to share with us regarding self-love. Maybe you have faced any um issues regarding your self-love. Maybe times you're supposed to say yes, you have to like affirm and you were so sure about saying no, like prioritizing yourself first, like something like that. If you have any contribution regarding that or question, you can please speak up. Do we have anybody? Mm. Okay, I think there's no one. Okay, as we round up, for me, my take home for today's section, because it was a very impactful one. My take home is that self-love is about being disciplined and setting boundaries. Boundaries very important, and at times you just have to say no when things are like too extreme. Maybe it's going to like take a lot from you, or something that is dangerous for your health and all. You can actually say no. That is not every time that you have to say yes to people, and I really take on to that, and I believe I will practice that as a person too. So I want to appreciate you, sir, for the section, for taking out your time to join us here this evening. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you to everyone who joined today's section. You're well appreciated too. Thank you very much for joining. And regarding the journaling, actually I just released mind healing journal, and if there's anyone interested in having one, although it's not for free, you can actually reach out to me. It really help. It's going to be very helpful. It's also part of self-love. Getting one is also part of self-love practice. I want to believe that. So thank you very much. So next, we're going to be having another section May 8th, and I will implore us to be there. I would like to see you all there. Thank you very much. Good night,
Hello.
everybody. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, ma.
I'm sorry. I don't think that you can actually add everyone to the group. Maybe there will be a notification that will drop if there is going to be another program coming up next, because it's usually someone that sends this every time to me.
Okay. Wow. There's a group actually, and I don't know how I can reach out to you to add you to the group. Is it possible you can like drop your number on the chat box?
All right. I'll do that now.
Okay. All right. Okay. That will be all for today. Thank you very much. Good night,
Thank you.
everyone. Yes, thank you very much, sir.
Wow. Good night, Mark. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
You and I need to be for a long time. Oh, she left already. Good night.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm trying to check the chat box. I don't know. I'm sorry. I've not gotten I've not how am I going to send my number? Okay, shut invite. Hey God. Hello? 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 Everybody have left. Oh, now